only take so much. We're only human beings. But let's get started in our first quarter, final match of the day. Remember, this is our grand finals of the North American 2v2 BattleRekt tournament. We will see who's going to take game number 1, see if they can open up in fashion.
Look at these comps. We've got some Croak Freya. Not the typical combo you would see, but I see a lot of opportunities for Thunder Strikes. But other than that, I'm not really sure. I think it's just a very brawl-oriented composition. There we go.
Gonna go right in immediately, but it gets clarity pushing away. Lemur does get that CC right off the bat. Croak's just gonna change targets. And Mr. Pink do a little bit of damage and get right back out. This orb is open. Oh, just a little bit too much, but he was able to snag it. Pink Lemur does get the first orb. Now we're gonna see if Lemur can try to put some damage on X Panic now that the counter is down. They have to be careful. But the incap followed by the stun and some damage on Mr. Pink. He's forced to roll away. He has a lot of juice still left though.
Sorry, I got it wrong. Their team name is Shrugface, not Barbarusa. Barbarusa is a different team. I think they couldn't make it either. It's going to be Shrugface taking their stead. But here's a connection onto Mr. Pink. Oh my god, so much damage. Freya and Croak can deal a lot if they get good set of uptime on their opponents, and they do in that scenario. But the center orb will go for the second time to Pink Lemur. And oh no, Freya's getting kind of low.
Oh, she panicked. She had to use it or she would have dealt with the pain of Lemur. Tried to go for Mr. Pink, but he did have a roll in the making, and he was able to just roll out of that ultimate. And now, take a look at it, just poked down by M1. Lemur is going to hunt down that Freya. And now Jeter left all alone. He might have some invis to protect him. He might try and steal this orb, but I don't think he's going to be able to come back from this.
Nice zoning from Lemur, and was able to take down Freya, as well as a good clarity push. He's going to save Mr. Pink from any kind of counter kill opportunity. And Pink Lemur, I think after being down kind of early in the game, was able to secure 2 center orbs and then start putting damage onto their opponents. And the instant Jumong has energy to spend, he will be doing a ton of damage. Already interesting out the gates, we saw and we continue to see in many of the European broadcasts 0 uses of Jumong, and in North America it is a very popular pick, headed up of course by Averse, but more than normal, Jumong is very prevalent in the North American region, and Lemur is making good use of it so far.
I expect X Panic and Jeter to really try and get in there. The double melee comp against the double range, especially someone as Jumong. He does miss the M2, so they might try and use it to close, and they both jump in, but now their mobility is going to get used. The barrier does come out, you will get pushed, but the immaterial will allow Lemur to try and deal some more damage. The counter does come out, but it does not get procced on. They're going to turn their targets to Mr. Pink and try and put the damage on, but easily Lemur is going to take that orb.
The good fear is going to allow Lemur to, or rather Mr. Pink to heal up quite a bit and not be able to be 2v1 and be at risk of the aggression from Shrugface, and they will counter out a lot of damage onto the Freya. There's a crippling goo, we'll close it out. An easy finish for Lemur and Mr. Pink, and they seem very well and comfortable in control of this match.
Now with this double melee comp, Freya and Croak combo, we have not ever seen before here. Is there something specific you think they'd have to do to try and keep consistent damage on this pair?
Oh, incapacity coming out. Yeah, consistent damage is going to be really tough, especially with the capabilities that Mr. Pink has to kite and Lemur constantly putting out damage. Now, Jumong only really has a trap to help CC and maybe the incapacity from Seeker's Mark, but that could be dangerous because if you pop your Prowl aggressively, it can open you up for counterattack opportunities. Point being is that the best way for Jumong to help his teammate out is just by doing a ton of damage, and that's exactly what Lemur is doing. Able to take the X Panic really, really low very quick, and then just cleaning him up, getting the orbs, just making sure that Mr. Pink is not racing against a clock in many ways, right? Yeah. They're setting the pace, not chasing it.
Croak and Freya have both been engaging kind of parallel, both space barring in. Lemur just kind of swaps the field. He'll just immaterial right through them both. Whichever one follows him, he's just going to keep going. But there you go. Freya is actually going to get her counter proc. Mr. Pink does get pulled in, but the panic will save him from a little bit of damage. He has time to kind of regroup with Lemur. And we're going to see if Lemur can deal with good damage. He's just going to try an M1, keep him pressed back a little bit. Now that she's going to go and Freya put some damage on, the barrier is going to come out. He is going to try and spacebar away from the boat, but Jeter's going to try and keep that pressure on.
Oh, good use of the X-Prowl. Gets him immaterial, and the Incapacitate will whiff, and the X-Panic has to jump.
Stole that orb.
Yeah, the Freya jumped the right-click there, and Lemur was able to get that from under her feet. Now the C is going to get pop another whiff, and this is looking real bad for Team Shrugface.
They are separated, but a good run of arrows will give Mr. Pink a little bit of time. We're going to see Croak trying to put the pressure on. The barrier will come out. Freya now trying to follow up. They're just going to put everything they can. Mr. Pink does have a full stick of butter, but now they're just going to go directly onto Jumong, take that energy, try and push him down. This orb actually could seal the deal. That orb will actually go to Shrugface. They do get the second orb here. And Lemur, he's looking pretty low. He's got to be careful if he's running out of him. He has no material, and he is forced to use it last second.
Good setup from Jeter and the X-Panic, but now, oh, the Crippling Goo is going to close it out, and Jeter has to jump into it, trying to make the kill, but the barrier comes up, and it's going to be real tough.
Oh.
Misses the camouflage stun. The spit! Oh, it's Lemur. He's using both of his jumps, but I'm pretty sure he has the X-Prowl now, and it's going to be tough for Jeter to make the kill happen.
I know I call him Lemur for the joke of it. I should probably just start calling him Lemur, because Lemur's an interesting syllable to say out loud and quickly.
That's rich. Oh,
it's
my
giving
God.
me the struggle, but that is round number 3. They will 3-0 sweep map number 1. Remember, folks, this is a best of 3 maps. So that was the first map. It goes to Pink Lemur. We'll see if maybe a comp change on Shrug face can change it up a little bit. But they have one more opportunity to try and stay alive in this quarterfinals.
Shot in the butt side, and the Croak will go down.
Shot in the butt side.
Shot in the butt side. Mr. Pink and Lemur were able to clean that up pretty easily, and I think they shouldn't have trouble moving on to the next round unless there's something significant that can really change for Shrugface. And I remember actually Shrugface had a really great performance in the North American tournament that I believe they debuted, but it seems like they've kind of met their match, and that wouldn't surprise me. Mr. Pink and Lemur actually have quite a bit of experience behind them. Maybe not quite at the tournament winning level, but they're definitely a step above kind of the other players that you would encounter in BattleRekt.
Now, going against a double melee composition that we know can kind of lock you down, get the incaps, get the stuns, you're going to want to kite a lot. And here we saw Jamong do a fantastic job, and Lucy as well, of just trying to kite both of these people, specifically Freya, and just try and put as much damage on as possible.
Yeah, I really like the way that they were able to avoid a lot of situations. Jeter is actually going to land the camouflage stun, but being that they were both melee, the fact that the X-Panic was so far away means that he has to travel a lot of distance and wasn't actually able to connect at the same time that Jeter was on his opponent, and that puts them in a very problematic situation, and of course the Crippling Goo to close it out. There's just so much travel distance that you have to traverse when you're against a Jumong and a Lucy, and all the time you're taking those steps, you're just taking damage. Left clicks coming your way, and maybe even rain of arrows or traps, and it's very hard. It's very difficult.
I do like the unique capability of Freya's counter. It's actually kind of the inverse of most. Instead of her going to them, she pulls them to her. And on top of it, it's kind of AoE. Anyone around her gets pulled in that's an enemy. So it can actually be, if one person messes up, it can affect everybody. She used it in the beginning of one of the rounds to try and close that gap, and that was one of the few rounds they put a lot of damage on, but they're not really going to fall for it. She has to try and time that counter with something that's already coming her way, which is going to be really hard to do, to time it just as some sort of projectile, leave somebody's hands, and then try and catch it right after, try and pull them in and deal as much damage as you can. Maybe follow it up with a Croak stun as well. They tried a few times. They did get a good amount of damage on, but it was just too hard to stick. Lucy was doing a good job of keeping everybody off with barriers, do the heals, do whatever Lucy does best, and still tasty swift rolls away.
So, in this next map, I think that Jeter and the X-Panic need to focus on defensive play and good positioning. They need to make it so that Jumong can't punish them for having to walk around the field as much as they have or trade out damage. And then the other part is getting center orbs. A lot of their damage will come from spending resource. Jeter from spending to C, and the X-Panic from getting up to that Thunderstrike and able to use the Thunderstrike on times where Jeter has set up the CC for him. And they just didn't have those opportunities in the beginning or at all in the last map that they played. That really hurt their aggressive potential.
X-Panic has to use the counter, has to be careful now. Not going to be able to engage for a good bit. They might have orb control. Jeter will go in. The barrier's going to push him right back out. He does camouflage. Actually, a good stun. They've now both kind of chosen both targets, but the Panic will force the X-Panic away. Oh, does get the counter and the orb as well. That was a fantastic play, just body blocking with the counter. And now take a look at the damage on Jamong. He will get the in cap on Freya, but she is full, and the counter again!
And will get the blind as well, so Jumong can only target really the Freya at that point. Could not capitalize on the panic from that Mr. Pink landed on Jeter, and now they're in a bad spot. Oh, but Jeter misses a key to C. I think that would have allowed the X-Panic to throw down a Thunderstrike. Oh, and he actually gets a second orb as well. This could look really good for Shrugface here. Oh, he's going to try to do it, but the timing was a little bit poor. Incapacity is by far the superior CCG set that up.
And then completely melted by an M2 and an ultimate. Now we're going to see the battle come out. Can he get buried? He will not. Jamong goes down. The X-Panic has almost no health to his name, literally 1 HP. If Mr. Pink can take one down, he might have a chance at the 1v1, potentially going in to sudden death coming up.
He needs to jump.
Inject. Oh, he just gets it, and the orb's actually going to go to Croak as well. It's looking worse and worse for Pink.
Nice. And the Clarity Potion is down. They're going to wait for the barrier, and now they're going to do a ton of damage, and Mr. Pink has little to no cooldowns left. Going to try to roll, and that's the last of it. It's
one
just
health
gonna
again!
Be swinging. Oh, man.
1 health again, just a single M1. She's going to try and bait it out. She wants to get him close.
The center orb is going to be important. Jeter needs to watch out for CC. Mr. Pink doesn't go for it, and there finally is a panic flash, but run! Oh no!
She has one more iframe! Oh, she had to use her space bar as well. She's got to be careful. Mr. Pink!
Nice
there's
counter.
The counter. The barrier comes out. She's actually not going to take much damage. She keeps Jeter away. She wants to take out just one to give herself a chance. She won't be able to. Mr. Pink will go down in valor, to say the least. She did fight her heart out. Lucy tried to make it to the end, but Shrugface is going to get a round off right in the beginning. Could potentially take map number 2 and take this to 3 maps.
I like it. The God Center Orb, 4-0. And also just the fact that, again, playing defensively, they're so much better. They didn't commit to any situation where they would be caught out of position. And when Jeter got hit by the Panic Flash, a blind was applied to Jumong. And so Jumong did not have a good awareness and good tools to really punish the 2v1 scenario. And just really good uptime in general. And then had the resources to spend on things like the C and Ultimate. And that's really the difference maker.
Oh, again, opening up with the counter. Interesting tactic. Hasn't worked for him so far. Jeter's actually going to go and gets a good spacebar on Lemur, and then as well on Mr. Pink, getting a little bit of damage on both. The counter will get procced, it'll pull them both in, but the Prowl will get the end cap on X-Panic.
Nice connection. I like how they went onto Lemur, I like how they went onto Lemur. Oh, the center orb will go the way of Pink Lemur, though, and they need the resources Shrugface does, but there lands a good, oh, and the stun, perfect execution there. That's exactly how explosive this composition can be. It's all about that uptime.
And also splitting up the, pretty much, that is nuts, yeah.
Precise.
They got a fantastic end cap on Lucy early on and then just turned everything they could to Jumong. Jumong only has so much, especially if he's being a little bit lenient with his spacebar and his materials. Got to be careful. It's hard for him to really make a lot of distance. You know, you look at some champs like Eva, Ashka, they have really large spacebars. Really large mobility, where with Jumong, he's got to be a little more careful. Yeah, he can cast spacebar twice, but it really doesn't close the gaps, especially against the Croak, who's got, you know, the recast on his spacebar plus the dash, all sorts of things. So he has to be very careful, and if they take Lucy out, then he loses the Clarity Potion and the barrier.
Jeter really stepped it up in that match, landed a lot of CC, and that's the crux of this composition. CC is what's going to help you extend your uptime and do real damage to your opponents, and that's what they need. They really, really just need the Croak to come in big. And Freya will do the damage.
There it is. It worked right off the bat. She does get the counter. Forces Lemur to get the hit. The camouflage will come out. And then it's actually going Mr. Pink. Forcing Mr. Pink to heal himself. And another counter gets hit. They have to be careful. Every time they pull that in, it really pushes them out of position. Lemur might be at full health. But it's looking like Mr. Pink is getting slowly whittled down. And this first orb is actually going to go to Shrugface.
Nice. Shrugface played that out really well in the incapacitate, but the Clarity Potion gets popped, and now Jeter finds himself in incapacitate, but that's a good incapacitate from the X-Panic himself, and this might be a fantastic situation. Oh, loses a lot of health and spends the counter as well, and now the X-Panic is going to have a hard time fighting off Lemur.
Oh, he misses all the M1s. He just couldn't get the X-Panic on the end cap. The counter will come out, though. Now she might be a little bit vulnerable, and that orb again is going to go.
They're so close. Here comes the setup. There it is. Oh, the barrier just in time. Jeter needed to make sure that he set up a little more CC in that scenario. Jumps out of the crippling goo, and that's actually real key.
But he might just get M1 down by Jumong. There it is. The X-Panic. Nothing left. 2 health left. Can you dodge it? And then almost get the kill. Be careful. The counter comes out. Oh, and you will go down to an M1, and now it's going to be up to Croak, who's not going to be able to do it. They will take another map. Pink Lemur trying to mount the comeback in this map.
Oh my god.
Those dodges from Freya were awesome.
Yeah. Keep your health high. There's not a lot of recovery that's available to Croak and Freya. And if you can't make sure that you're trading out good amounts of damage, you're going to lose in terms of pacing. I mean, we saw this scenario come up in the European tournament as well, specifically for Hot Biscuit and Wuzak running that double DPS composition. We see the damage capacity that Croak and Freya can put out, but survivability is a very real thing. Nice, and this time it works out for him. The double stun, too. That's going to set up a lot. Prowl gets spent, and now Mr. Pink is in trouble. Barrier gets spent, and Lemur might be the target swap here. Good trap.
A panic plus a trap, forcing the X-Panic to have to take the long way home. The counter will come out, and that has been baited out. It gets a nice M2, trying to put some damage on. She's going to have to iframe through some of his stuff. This orb is up. Who will get it? A good double stun. But the immature is going to come out. Will he be able to get the end cap? No. Good dodging, and that orb is going to go to Pink Lemur. They will take the first one, and hopefully, for them, they're going to be able to continue on with this pressure.
Big lost opportunity here. Freya really wanted the health, really wanted the bar, and now gets Freya. Easy cleanup for Mr. Pink. And that's really off the back of, after the first counter hit and a fantastic double stun, Freya was whiffed a lot of other abilities. Popped the counter, did not get shot, even got hit by the right click after the counter finished, didn't even jump over it, and if you let Jumong do that, you're going to be taking a ton of damage here.
It's interesting just to see such a disparity in the health. 83% health pool. Both of them nearly at full before this goes down. They just lost the first 2 rounds. Will they be able to perform the reverse sweep now going into round number 5? Can Pink Lemur take this down early on?
Jeter, you know, is it Thex Panic or the X Panic?
It's probably the X Panic, but I like the X Panic.
Thex Panic.
It sounds like a cologne.
Thex Panic.
The X Panic.
A fragrance for Freya?
I don't even know.
We'll see. All right.
Look
at this jumpy
store,
icon.
you know,
Look at that icon right there. That's an angry jumping person.
That's an angry jumping person. Looks like a frog. It does look a little bit like a frog. Oh, the counter just getting missed by Mr. Pink. It does get baited out now. The X Panic trying to get a little bit too predictable. Oh, just getting out of that now, using his second jump. Lemur was able to dodge it.
Gave him a little bit of a shield in. Panic is trying to get in now. Seeker's Mark is applied, but will not get incapacitated. They need to coordinate Jeter and Freya.
Oh, they do snake it just with those last 2 M1s. Oh, Croak's gonna take a lot. That rain of arrows. Once there was no more mobility, he saw the opportunity for the damage. It does so much. Actually, a lot of really good movement, I have to say, from Shrug face. They've dodged a lot of M1s when necessary. There comes,
nice
right
clarity.
Back in. Will Freya get melted down? She will, and that could be it. Will they perform the reverse sweep? Pink Lemur will probably take this map, bringing them to the semifinals.
Oh my god, so much damage. And in the camouflage, Rain of Arrows does not care. And Jeter will fall 2-0. Pink Lemur will move on to the semifinals. I like it. I like the clarity potion behind the wall.
That was I think it might have been blind. I couldn't tell if she could see her from her point of view. She might have had just a little bit of a poke.
Yeah,
just a little
just
bit of
an idea.
Just seeing a little bit of the nose, but fantastic play from both people. The X-Panic and Jeter almost. Shrug face so close to being able to take that. They took the first 2 rounds in impressive fashion. They really shut them down, put that pressure on. I think it might have caught them off guard. Maybe I think Pink Lemur might have struggled a little bit because they did pretty. They, you know, the 3-0 swept the first one. I think they walked into the second map thinking like, all right, we're gonna take this. And then we had a lot of well-timed counters from Freya, a lot of really good just opportunities to jump in and really melt when they could, but they couldn't keep it up. They got reverse sweeped at the very end. 2-0 maps. Pink Lemur, congratulations. You guys will move on to our semifinals.
Semifinals.